Why is it said that floods in southern China are mostly caused by humans? Hello, breaking news listeners. Dear friends, most recently there is news about the flood disaster in southern China. Heavy rain poured down, leaving the southern provinces submerged in a vast sea of water. In Hunan province, people had to go online to ask for help when 190 reservoirs overflowed their banks. The amount of rain that fell on Changsha City in 1 hour on June 24th was enough to fill 54 West Lakes in Hangzhou. Floodwaters in Truongsha rose to the height of an adult's chest. Many other places in southern China are also experiencing heavy rain and flooding. Guilin City, Guangxi province is facing the worst flood in the past 30 years. Since mid-June, due to continuous heavy rains and floods from upstream, water levels rose suddenly, affecting more than 180,000 people. Maichao City, Guangdong province was also submerged in water. Chinese people in many southern localities said they had never witnessed heavy rain and floods rising so quickly, causing heavy damage to property, the living environment, and seriously threatening the lives of children. People, cultural works and relics that are hundreds or even thousands of years old are buried in floodwaters. Notable is Chengkan village in Anhui province, which has the largest number of Huizhou ancient architectural relics, including Luotongshu Temple and ancient buildings. There is also the Huan-Tu Bridge built during the Yuan dynasty, now about 700 years old, but was damaged by floods. And yet, Qingdao Literature Radio reported on June 24th that the statue of poet Li Bai in Taohuatan Town, Xuancheng City, Anhui Province, was flooded up to his chest. I can only see his face looking up, his hand holding a cup of wine towards the sky as if to say, "The yellow river water poured down from the sky, flowed quickly to the sea and never returned." It is the opening verse of Li Bai's masterpiece, Tian Tian Tu, which is now considered a prophecy by Chinese netizens. So is it just because water falls from the sky? Water falling from heaven is not as harmful as water offered by humans. Because this flood disaster is not just because of heavy rain. Dams releasing floodwaters without warning is the main cause of rapid floods. Heavy rain is only part of the cause of flooding, because never before has rain caused floods to rise so quickly in the delta. For example, on June 23rd, the Spotlight video account Jiaodian Video cited a video from Sichuan television revealing the actual process of rising water in a village in Anhui. In just 10 minutes, the water rose 4 to 5 meters high. In Truonghia City, 2 employees of a restaurant in the Kduyet Hoi commercial area said the water began to rise around 9 a.m., and by about 11 a.m., the entire first floor of the restaurant was flooded, proving that the water rose very quickly. All the heavy rains in Meichou City, Guangdong Province, Guilin, Guangxi Province, and Fujian Province could not have caused water levels to rise so quickly without unannounced flood discharges. On June 16, 2024, Huangdian water in Huangdian Village, Binvian District, Maichao City, suddenly flooded. Surveillance cameras recorded the process of a house in Truongdian Village, Binvian District sinking. Flooded. Video shows that the water level in this locality suddenly rose by 2 meters within 3 hours. In this image, just by looking at the position of the pig clinging to it, you can know how high the flood water level is when the flood discharge occurs in Guangdong. Recently, many videos on social networks showed that on June 22nd, due to heavy rain in Hamlin, Hubei, more than 20,000 chickens of a farmer drowned. According to farmers, many reservoirs opened their floodgates at the same time. The water rose more than 1 meter in 10 minutes. There is no way to save yourself. 1,000 chickens were saved, while more than 20,000 chickens drowned. Damage was about 200,000 yuan. We raise it ourselves, how can we buy insurance? The Vision Times interviewed Ms. Thin Tuyet, a writer living in Canada and the global vice president of the Democratic Front. She said, "When I saw this flood, my first thought was the flood in Chachu, Hebei province. Last year was also caused by the Chinese Communist Party intentionally draining floodwaters and causing flood disaster at that time. No one knows how many people died then, and the Chinese Communist Party will never tell people the truth." In addition, there was also a palanquin carrying Chinese official media figure Trieu Lan Qian. Also remember last year's incident in Chazhou, Hebei province, where the Chinese Communist Party unleashed floodwaters to protect Xionghan. Heng'an is a city built according to the policy of turning it into a model city. This river was originally a natural flood discharge area in the China Delta. Logically speaking, once a natural flood discharge place is built into a city, The cities and residential areas surrounding it will naturally become flood discharge places. Therefore, to prevent Hong'an from being swept away by water flowing from the Tai Hang Sun mountain range, a flood-controlled dike was built to the west of this city, causing a large amount of floodwater to overflow into the periphery of the flood discharge area, causing major floods in areas that have never been flooded for hundreds of years. On June 21st, Mr. Wang Dui-lak, a famous boat expert living in Germany, told the Chinese edition of the Epoch Times that water reservoirs in China have a so-called limit water level, which is, if the water level is higher during the rainy season, it must flood. But now, why is it said that if the water level exceeds the limit, the flood must be released immediately? That's because the Chinese Communist herd applies a responsible regime for reservoir management. Managers are concerned about the poor quality of the dam, so they are afraid of a dam failure, so they would rather discharge it by mistake than miss it. Right when the southern provinces of China were flooded, the northern provinces of China were scorching hot. In the winter, the fields are dry, and the grass is no longer a food crop. In Handan, Hebei is also dry. The hot sun also creates mirages. Many areas in Henan province have not had any rain for more than half a year. Farmers tried to gather precious streams of water to irrigate parched fields, hoping to save crops in the heat of over 40 degrees Celsius. People set up herds to pray for rain, and the government fired cannons into the sky to create rain. Done, not even a drop of water. Heavy rain in Hunan, 190 reservoirs overflowed. After the disaster in Changjia, Hunan province, Pingjiang and Yueyang, Hunan province also suffered a serious and rare flood on July 1st. The urban water level has surpassed a 70-year record and reached a depth of 3 meters. 190 reservoirs overflowed their banks. These disasters happen everywhere, like landslides and houses collapsing. People go missing. Mainland social platforms are mostly flooded with calls for help, and related topics frequently top closed search lists. Binjiang announced that major floods rarely occur. 190 reservoirs overflowed and flooded up to 3 meters in the district. According to reports from mainland media that reported on the work to combat catastrophic floods, it was said that at 4 p.m. on July 1st, the urban water level reached 77.25 meters. This is the highest water level since 1954. The water level in the urban area will continue to gradually rise. People in the district are asked to comply with the official dispatch, and people in the city center should not go out unless necessary. As of 7 p.m. the same day, a total of 190 reservoirs in the district were overflowing. A total of 7,000 meters of embankment in Binjiang district was flooded. After a short period of heavy rain, water accumulated in the locality reached a depth of 3 meters. The water level was as high as a traffic light pole. Currently, nearly 1/3 of the urban area of Binjiang is flooded. Nearly half of the new urban area is flooded. A total of 340,000 people were affected, and more than 2,600 bridges and roads were washed away. Nearly 170,000 acres of crops were affected, with economic losses estimated at more than 200 million yuan. Some netizens left a message in the comments section of the article. Why was 1 to 3 of the old town affected by the disaster, but half of the new town was flooded? What a question worth pondering. Why are there floods? Because that place should have been a river flow or a reservoir, but we had to build houses there so it wouldn't be flooded. According to a video posted online on July 1st, houses were submerged in water, streets turned into rivers, and water flowed rapidly. Many villagers are trying to save themselves. Some boats capsized and sank in the water. Some people said the water was so scary that it continued to rise. This is the source of great and small disasters. Mao Zedong's famous question, "Fighting heaven, fighting earth, fighting people is really fun," has established the spirit of the Communist Party of China and Chinese society for more than 70 years. Therefore, rivers must be blocked. Mountains must be destroyed. If water flows south, you must force it to flow back north, killing Thao Nguyen cows to farm. But everyone has had to pay the price. 3 of China's 5 great grasslands have disappeared. Deserts are spreading more and more. Sand flew into Beijing. Enclosing the lake for farming caused the middle and lower Zhuangjiang region to lose 12,000 km² of the Tiger River area within 50 years, surpassing the total area of today's 5 large freshwater lakes. As for the construction of countless hydroelectric dams and indiscriminate flood discharge, as we have seen and are seeing, this goes against the spirit of humility and wisdom of ancient Chinese people. People follow the earth follows the sky follows the religion follows nature. The important idea here is the word thuong. Because human strength is limited anyway, it cannot compare with the terrifying power of nature. Human life is so short that it cannot be compared to the everlasting heaven and earth. Only shallow people can only learn from creation. Humans also make a lot of mistakes. We should just bow down humbly and learn to follow nature. But the Chinese Communist Party's mistakes in dam construction and management are not new. In 2005, a Discovery Channel television program revealed a man-made disaster. Topping the list is not the Chernobyl nuclear explosion, but the 1975 Banqiao Dam incident that Chinese people rarely know about. According to Discovery, on August 8, 1975, the Banqiao Dam in Hainan province collapsed due to heavy rain and flooded an area of 150 kilometers x 75 kilometers. More than 100,000 floating bodies were recovered. Another 140,000 people died from famine and pestilence that followed the flood. This dam was not well managed to release floodwaters at the right time. Furthermore, its build quality also matters. Banqiao Dam is one of many dams built in the early 1950s as a product of the Great Leap Forward movement. It was hastily built and did not have adequate quality control. At the time of emergency, only 5 out of 17 floodgates could be raised. The remaining doors are all stuck due to rust. China today is a country with the world's largest number of reservoirs, as well as the world's greatest disaster potential. So the question is, in China, are floods caused by God or by humans? Our video today will pause here. What are your thoughts on these? Please leave a comment below to let everyone know. Thank you for your interest and subscribing to Breaking News Channel. Wishing you and yours good luck and peace. Hello, and see you in the next videos.